Hello again, and welcome back into the Red Zone. I'm Alex Campbell. Well, with 5 games down and 5 to go in the regular season, the North Central football team is 5-0 and now coming back home for 2 games after a 64-13 win against Carthage College in Kenosha, Wisconsin on Saturday. Quarterback Luke Lanin was named CCIW Offensive Player of the Week. Wide receiver Andrew Kaminsky broke the conference reception record, and the Cardinals continue to be ranked number 1 in both the coaches poll and on D3Football.com. I'll talk to head coach Jeff Thorne about all of that, plus freshman lineman Jeske Maples and sophomore quarterback Nick Rummel are the student-athlete guests this week. And on this week's Cardinal Corner, women's tennis are looking to complete an undefeated fall conference schedule. But of course, as always, we start with the highlights from yet another big Cardinals football victory. The Cardinals defense took the field first, and Braden Lindmark made the first big play of the day by knocking away this pass. Carthage would punt, and it was time for the Cardinals offense to get to work. On play action, Luke Lanin rolls out and finds Andrew Kaminsky along the far sideline, who keeps his feet in bounds for a nice gain. A couple plays later, it's play action again, and a pass to Kaminsky again, but he's not going out of bounds, he's going to the house. 39 yards for the touchdown, 7-0 North Central. Next series, and a throw behind his intended target by Bryce Lowe is intercepted by Nick Rummel, and the Cardinals get the ball right back on Rummel's second pick of the year. On the ensuing drive, it's an easy touchdown run for Ethan Greenfield, who averaged over 7 yards per carry and punched this one in from 1 yard out. Carthage didn't have a first down in the entire first half, and after another punt, it's Lanin airing it out to find Kaminsky for one of many big pass plays on the afternoon. 2 plays later, more Kaminsky, as Lanin puts this pass in a perfect spot for him to make the catch. Check out the control on the replay to keep his feet in bounds. After that, Lanin looks toward Kaminsky again, but decides to keep it himself, scrambling in for another touchdown and extending the lead to 20-0. On the first play after another Carthage 3-and-out, Lanin looks long again and this time finds D'Angelo Hardy in stride, 73 yards to the house. Another Firebirds 3-and-out is followed by another Cardinals touchdown as Lanin takes this one in easily to make it 33-zip. Now, normally we wouldn't show non-scoring plays by an opponent, but props to Carthage's Caleb Jackson for this incredible one-handed catch and being able to hold onto the ball as he's brought down by Jake Beasley. 2 plays later, and the Firebirds finally get on the board with this 23-yard touchdown run by Noel Wright. Facing 4th and goal on the next drive, the Cardinals convert for 6 as Kaminsky is somehow left wide open, makes the catch, feet in bounds, and it's a quick response from North Central. Carthage looking for another touchdown on their next drive, but Bryce Lowe's pass is intercepted in the end zone by Beasley. After the Carthage defense forced a fumble, the offense becomes the first to score 2 touchdowns against this Cardinals defense this season as Lowe finds Sam Limbaugh for the score. But the Cardinals would finish off the first half with yet another touchdown. Terrence Hill goes in from 2 yards out. North Central took a 47-13 lead into the break. Third quarter, it's another big defensive play as Cameron Martin breaks through for the sack, his first of the season. The Cardinals spent the second half running out the clock. Hill into the end zone for his second 2-yard TD to make it 54-13 North Central. With the second team offense in the game, Justin Lynch gets a turn for a short score of his own, and the final touchdown the Cardinals would score in the game. And how about some second team defense? Here's Cole Griffin making a huge hit. And look how pumped he is to make such a big play. North Central put the cherry on top with his 26-yard Tanner Raines field goal, and that would do it as the offense rolls and the defense pitches a second half shutout. The Cardinals win again and are 5-0, 64-13 on Saturday over Carthage. Halfway through their regular season, the Cardinals football team are 5-0, having outscored their opponents 268-40. Ahead of kicking off the second half of their season on Saturday at Benedetti Worley Stadium, Cardinals head coach Jeff Thorne is here as always. Coach, congrats on a 5-0 start. Thanks as always for coming on the show.
Thanks, Alex.
So you're at the halfway point of the regular season, 5 down, 5 to go. How do you take stock of your team's performances so far, and what have kind of been your biggest takeaways through this first half of your regular season schedule?
Very, very pleased with where we're at. Obviously, the goal was to make sure that we controlled our own destiny this time, and rather than 2019, needing help. And we're in that position. If we take care of business and go 1-0 each week, then we should be in a really good position come the end of the season for a hopeful long playoff run again.
Absolutely. On Saturday, especially in the first half, I guess the way I'd put it is it looked like Carthage was playing maybe a couple seconds past the whistle in a few respects. How do you hope your players deal with those situations when the game is like that, and how do you think they dealt with it under the circumstances?
I think we could have done a better job of maintaining our composure in a couple situations. We talked about that at halftime. That was kind of our message to them at halftime. Like, look, guys, you've done a great job of getting out ahead, played a good first half. Let's maintain our composure. This is going to get a little bit chippy, but the officials, generally speaking, usually get the second guy in. And if we respond and react to something that we maybe don't like, we're going to be the guys that get caught. And I'm not suggesting that we weren't guilty at one time or another. We might have been. But just in the game and really in life, you've got to respond instead of react. And that's been something we've talked about for years in our program. So I thought we did a much better job of that in the second half.
Speaking of that second half, it's another defensive second half shutout, fourth straight one of those. I did ask Nick Rummel, who we're going to hear from later in the show after the game. Yeah, the margin was still big, but do you think the defense might have learned a little bit more in this game than maybe in some other games?
No, you know what? We put them in a tough spot. We gave up a turnover deep in our own territory, and we talk about sudden change all the time and work on those situations in practice. We didn't do a great job of responding in that situation. They got one, quick score. I think it was a 15-yard drive. But, I told them at halftime, look, we're playing college football teams. We can go into games thinking, hey, let's get a shutout. That's a great goal. But we can't hang our heads when we give up 7 points or 13 points to a quality football team. We started the game with 5 straight 3-and-outs defensively. That's phenomenal. That's what I look to. Certainly there's things we're looking at the film and we're going to fix and we're going to continue to work on. But I'm proud of the way we started the game. We'd given up a couple of first drive scores early in the season. This game we came out, and again, 5 3-and-outs, and our offense got points on each one of those drives to create a margin. That's great defensive football.
On Saturday, Andrew Kaminsky broke the conference receptions record, also scored his 50th conference touchdown. Over the last 4 years, or 4 seasons, I should say, do you see a look in his eyes when a big game like that is coming? And just, what do you make of him reaching those milestones?
The hallmark of Andrew is consistency. I mean, it's every week. It doesn't matter. But when the game has been big, and you can look back to the playoffs last year and look at what he did at Mount Union, look what we did in the semifinal game against Muhlenberg. Really, we finished our season, late in the season anyway, with Illinois Wesleyan. We needed to win that one. And, 4 touchdowns in each one of those games. It doesn't matter who we're playing. Andrew's going to show up ready to play football. I think he counts his opportunities and wants to make his opportunities count. And you never know when this thing's going to be over with as a football player. He certainly has aspirations, and I think he's going to get a great opportunity to continue to play. But he's not taking anything for granted and he's taking regret off the table by making sure he controls what he can control.
Andrew's obviously been a leader on this team for a long time, one of many. But so far this season, at the halfway point, who are some new leaders in your mind that have really stepped forward this season into those, more, higher profile roles within the team?
It's a good question, Alex. I don't have a great answer for you. We have such a veteran team. We have so many super seniors on this team, those 50-year guys, that we haven't really needed young guys to step forward. Certainly Luke and his performances, we're going to see Jeske here in a minute, have led in their own ways, but we just have such tremendous senior leadership from this team that it really hasn't been necessary. It's just a very, very mature football team that we have this year.
Looking ahead now, 3 home games left. 2 of them are in the next 2 weeks against Elmhurst and Illinois Wesleyan, respectively. Beyond 2 wins, what are your goals for this short homestand you've got here?
The same goals we have every week. Let's look at the tape at the end of the game, win or lose, and let's find the areas that we can continue to really, really work hard to get better at. And that'll be the rallying cry, going forward. What can we do on Sundays? We call it Sundays Tell the Truth Sundays. What can we do on Sunday to find areas where the film is telling us, hey, this is something we got to work on. We're not where we need to be yet, and we're not as a program. We got some big wins with large margins, but we're not where we want to be. Our players know that, and again, that goes back to having a mature team. We don't have to tell them a whole lot. There may be reminders like, hey guys, let's be self-critical here, and let's find what can we do better. Where did we miss the mark Let's make sure we're comparing ourselves to our standard that we want to play to, and our guys have done a great job of that, and I think we'll continue to.
It's that time of week again where we check the tape, and Coach Thorne and I will look back at some big plays from the weekend. Coach, we've already mentioned Nick Rummel, who we're going to hear from more in this episode today, and I wanted to start with this interception that he had in the first half. He's really emerged as a presence on defense this year.
Yeah, Nick's a ball hawk. He's got tremendous quickness. He's fast on top of it, but that change of direction is what we thought would be a great transition, moving him over to defense. He did a great job for us last year as a receiver and played a ton in the playoffs and made a lot of big plays for us. So to see him have early success at our field corner spot is not a surprise to me at all.
The second play we want to look at is, the passing game was big, especially early, and you could tell those deep post routes to the middle, we're going to see one from Kaminsky and one from Hardy here on these plays, but it seemed like this was something you guys were looking for in the first half?
Yeah, some other teams that have had some success there. We thought we might be able to get over the top and work some matchups that we liked. And Luke did a great job putting the ball out there. Andrew made a great catch on one of them, and here you see the one to D'Angelo, and then he just kind of turns the burners on and runs away from everybody. So, yeah, we had some opportunities, and we missed a couple as well, but those two in particular were really well executed.
And then finally, we've talked a lot about the season when Luke makes plays. You've said, I think, a couple times, oh, that was his first read, and he executed it really well. On this last one, clearly he's looking for Andrew again, and he makes the decision, I'm going to run it myself. What did you see from the sideline on this particular touchdown?
Yeah, we get a little bit of pressure right there. Ethan does a great job of getting out to that late. His first read in his progression, that guy jumped, was in his throwing lane. And, this is what he brings to the table. That's taken away, and he can improvise, and with that athleticism and speed, it's really hard to account for that.
Well, we'll be looking forward to seeing them try to live up to that over the next couple of weeks and down the stretch. Coach, thanks for the time as always, and best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Alex.
Opportunity is everywhere. It is in everything and within everyone. Your opportunity is at the center of all that we do, so that you can exceed your personal best.
Welcome back to the Red Zone. While the Cardinals have no shortage of returning players from the 2019 championship season continuing to perform at an elite level, this year's story has seen some new characters stepping into big roles. It's great to be joined this week by two such players, offensive lineman Jeske Maples and defensive back Nick Rummel. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So for both of you guys, in your first season as full starters, having big roles on this team, what's that been like for each of you?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, we just go out there every day, try to do our best, play to our standard. There's a lot of fifth-year guys that gave up their life. They put their life on pause to come back and, have another run at this thing. So, we're just all trying to do our best to make them proud and, have a successful year.
Yep, like he said, it's all for the fifth-year guys. I'm happy I was able to come in and accept the challenge on a team of this caliber. It's just been a blast, and just trying to do everything we can to give these guys another shot at a natty run.
Jeske, I know you've mentioned before that you played at 1A level in high school in Illinois, which, for those who don't know, 8 levels, 1A is the lowest one, the smallest schools. You've had this full year, though, to kind of prepare for this. What's that step up been like, and how have you experienced that kind of shift for you over the last year?
Obviously, it's just an entirely different ballgame. High school level, I really didn't get coached all that much. Love my coaching staff; they did a great job. But just the technique level here, everything is coached down to the step, and I've loved taking on that challenge. And yeah, it's been awesome. It is a whole different ball game, speed of the game, everything.
And Nick, you were someone who, for the first 2 years here at North Central, you were listed as a wide receiver. Now you're excelling as a cornerback. Was that your idea? Was that the coaching staff's idea? And how did you experience that transition?
This past spring, Coach Thorne called me into his office, talked about the idea of possibly playing the field corner position on our defense, and I was super excited about it. I don't even know if Coach finished his sentence before I told him I was in. instantly got on the phone with my parents. I was like, this is awesome. And then I mentioned it after the game, all the senior leadership on our defense across the board. They took me in the minute they heard that I was playing defense and, told me if there's any questions I have about the playbook, schemes, whatever it was, to not hesitate to reach out.
You guys have both mentioned the fifth-year guys doing it for them, the senior leadership. Within each of your position groups, who are players that you guys look up to, both on and off the field?
Sharmore Clark, obviously, All-American. He just comes in every day, does the right things, leads by example. Nate Gray, another one of those fifth-year seniors. He's just, as soon as I came in, he was always the one to be able to kind of help me out with drills, and because a lot of this stuff, like I said, was new to me. Didn't really know what was going on, and he was there to help. And then other than that, the entire O-line, to be honest, every one of the older guys, and that's just kind of the culture we built here. Everyone's going to take you under their wing. They want what's best for the team, and that's built on building up the young guys.
For defense, the first one that comes to mind for me is Jake Beasley. Obviously, All-American cornerback. Had a very successful 2019 season, and even the season before. Just seeing the way he carries himself on the field with the quiet confidence that he has, and then just the type of person he is off the field. He's always there for people. He's definitely the first person that comes to mind, and then definitely the second one would be Dakota. He's such a team guy. He was probably the first person, actually was the first person that reached out to me when I moved to defense, and just the way he carries himself as well, always there for people and plays his heart out. So those are two guys that definitely come to mind right away.
And then finally, you guys have both had some personal highlight reel moments so far this season. Nick, on Check the Tape this week, we saw your interception from the weekend. For each of you, what's the moment so far from the season that stands out most?
I don't know. I guess I would say when the clock hit 0 in the Wheaton game. That's the game we've been building up for however long, since I've been here, to be honest. And winning that game, that was just a kind of a big sigh of relief, and at least gave us a measured kind of where we're at as a team right now.
I'm going to carry on with that as well. Definitely the end of the Wheaton game, seeing Andrew run over and get the bell. I know how hard those seniors have worked in their 4 or 5 years here wanting to win that bell and get that bell back. So that was definitely awesome that we got to get that job done for them.
Well, guys, as we do every week on the show, before we let you go, we're going to do some quick hits, some non-football stuff, have a little bit of fun, get to know you guys a little bit better. And the first one this week is, if you had to choose anywhere within the U.S. that you have not been yet, where would you most want to go? What's on top of your list?
I'm going to go with the Grand Canyon.
I'm right there with
I've
you.
heard all about it. I hear it's an awesome view. Definitely want to go there soon.
And I'll probably say Yosemite. So my parents are from out west. They graduated from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I don't know, they talk about all the places they've been out there, and Yosemite just seems really cool to me. I don't know, I'd like to go hiking out there and just kind of see what that's all about.
Maybe some trips for the off season.
Yeah.
Next up, I think everybody's had this thought. If you could pick one TV show, reality show, a game show of some sort that you think you could win, that you'd be really good at, what are you picking?
I'm going to go with Family Feud. That's a show that my family back home, whenever we're together, we all always watch it almost every night. And, sometimes I'll answer the questions like to myself, and I get the #1 answer a good amount of times, so I'm going to have to go with that one.
I'll probably say Jeopardy. So my grandma lives across the street from me every day, whatever time it is, 3:30. I'd walk over there and watch Jeopardy with her, and that was always kind of my thing, so probably say that.
And then finally, rather as fans than players, what is the best sporting event, your favorite sporting event that you've ever been to?
I'm going to go with one that happened pretty recently, this past July. My girlfriend and I went to a Cubs game, and it was the last one before all the main guys got traded. And Javi Baez hit a walk-off on one of the Cincinnati pitchers that he kind of had some standing beef with. I was sitting in the outfield, second or third row, and the ball landed right in front of us.
Wow.
And the whole stadium went crazy. So that's one that definitely sticks in my mind.
And I can't pick one because when I was, I think, like 5, it was the 2006 NLCS. I was at the game for the Cardinals to go to the World Series. So that was obviously crazy, but I don't remember a whole lot of it. And then, 2 years ago when Illinois beat Ohio State, I was at that game and that was just electric. That was pretty cool.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks so much for taking the time for answering the football and the non-football questions, and best of luck this weekend against Elmhurst.
Awesome, thank you.
Stay in the know at home or on the go with Nctv 17 News Update. This quick recap of everything happening in and around town will be delivered straight to your email inbox for free. Sign up today.
It's hard to improve on winning a conference tournament, but this fall the North Central women's tennis team has found a way. After a perfect 27-0 match record and run through the CCIW tournament back in the spring, the Cardinals have followed it up by winning all 10 of their dual matches so far this season, including an 8-0 conference record.
It's not something that I sit there and regularly think about. It makes life a little bit easier for us in terms of a seeding standpoint. At the same time, though, it is cool to look back and when you check off your goals, and one of our goals is to win conference and have all the accolades that come with that. And we've done a really good job of pushing towards that. It's not something we sit on every day, but it is something to look back on and be like, that is pretty neat.
I feel like it was one of our practices where Ryan was like, yeah, we're almost done with, like, this is our halfway point. And I was like, oh shoot, like,
it was shocking.
It was kind of like real at that time that like we're halfway through our season. I mean, we only have like one more match and then conference starts, which has gone by crazy fast.
Yeah, I feel like we just started.
There are few more individualistic sports than tennis. While each player or doubles team is in theory focusing on their own play and a given match, team tennis requires morale to remain high and players to be able to work together in order to maximize each other's performances. This team's biggest strength might not be its tennis talent, but its unity.
Egos are checked at the door, which has been really refreshing when you get a group of individuals in an individualistic sport that are pretty alpha dominated. They're used to being on their own. They're used to being the best at what they do, and typically coming from households and clubs and academies where they are the best at what they do. There can be some animosity and some egos and some of that drama, and I think from day one we've done a really, really good job of, and day one being back in 2017, doing a really, really good job of squashing all the drama and checking all the emotions and all the BS at the door. And I think it's translated into obviously our best team yet, and being drama free as well. So it's been huge.
The roster features 6 seniors, including 3 who were members of Jump's first recruiting class. That includes first doubles pairing Hannah Hoagland and Elena Kantapisai, who have spent all 4 years working as a pairing. Any doubles team requires a strong relationship on and off the court, and they have set the standard of being leaders and teammates for the rest of the squad.
What makes us such good partners because we were together for 4 years, all 4 years, and I feel like our chemistry is very well put together.
They asked us like how we work together, and I like to say we're like the beauty and the beast. One of us hits very hard, the other one doesn't, but it's a good combination. It messes up a lot of people we play because I hit an off-pace ball, she hits a hard ball, they're not used to it. So it's made us be very successful. We work really well, we communicate. I think our styles though are gonna be different, so the girls have to realize that they're not gonna play the same way. But I think definitely our energy, the way we play together, the way we treat each other, if we mess up, we're positive, definitely is an example to the other girls on the team.
When they came in as freshmen, it wasn't really going to be like they were freshmen, and they came in, both on an academic and on an athletic side, in well seasoned, and they were good to go. And I think that upped our process in terms of where we wanted to go by a few years for sure.
Last spring's triumph was the first year in which the CCIW moved to a bracketed team format, with head-to-head team matchups just like the regular season, rather than players split up by individual flights like first or second doubles or first, second, or third singles. This consistency of format makes these matches feel like the regular contests that the team has dominated all year, but the players know they can't overlook any opponent and have to stay focused on their goals as a team.
We all have our individual goals as ourselves, but then I feel like on the team we know each other's individual goals kind of well, so we can come together as a team to make progress.
Now it's like a team tournament, and I'd rather have that, and I feel like it's just more accomplished because we're in a team and not set up by ourselves. It's not over yet.
yeah, we still have work to do.
I think it gives us like really good confidence going into the tournament, which is good to have going into a big tournament. But also, like, yeah, we're not done. Like, we still need to get the job done and finish.
The conference tournament is just one day of a long schedule. The team will be back playing in the spring with a full slate of non-conference opponents and, they hope, a trip to the NCAA championships. For head coach Ryan Jump, it's not the successes in individual matches or tournaments that has made the team's run of success so special, but the relationships and memories that have been formed along the way.
Winning is always fun, and I'll never say it's not fun. But the relationship, watching the groups grow up, watching as we go through, our first senior class last year, our first graduating class, our first recruiting graduating class this year, it's crazy. And they'll say that I'm not too sentimental on things like that. That is one thing that I am. And, just watching them grow up, going through the relationships and seeing where they're going to end up in, 5, 10, 15 years, I think that's the coolest part of it.
It's time for this week's Red Zone play of the game. We're showing some love to the second team defense this week and this huge hit by junior linebacker Cole Griffin. A play that's worth watching and hearing over and over. And that was this week's Red Zone play of the game. That's our show for this week. Thanks to head coach Jeff Thorne as always, along with Jeske and Nick for coming on the show this week. Thanks to head tennis coach Ryan Jump and the Cardinals women's tennis team. Good luck this weekend against Carthage. Cardinals football is back at home and back live on Nctv 17 this weekend. Kickoff against Elmhurst is scheduled for 6 p.m. at Benedetti Worley Stadium. You can watch on Channel 17 in Naperville or on nctv17.com. I'll be on the sidelines Saturday and right back here next week for another episode of The Red Zone. For now, I'm Alex Campbell. Thanks for watching.